All right, the Hyperloop concept is boring ahead with Elon Musk's company giving the green signal to dig a 2-mile test tunnel. So what exactly is all of this about? The future of transportation? Well, here's a preview.
Tech entrepreneur Elon Musk's much talked about Hyperloop high-speed underground transport system has been cleared. They can go ahead and dig a 2-mile test tunnel in California. Until now, Musk's Boring Company had only dug under its own private property. Interestingly, this tunnel will run 44 foot below public roads, and as the company explains, vehicles will travel through these tunnels at speeds of up to 130 miles per hour. As far as the public infrastructure is concerned, the Boring Company could be asked by authorities to fill the tunnel with concrete slurry or soil once the test is finished. Here's how the tunnels would look if they become a reality. It's possible that even cars could move on underground highways. So far, the Boring Company has only got permission to conduct a dry test, but as Musk explains, these transport tunnels will be way faster than current high-speed trains and will steeply cut travel time between cities.
We're trying to dig a hole under LA, and this is to create the beginning of what will hopefully be a 3D network of tunnels to alleviate congestion. First of all, you have to be able to integrate the entrance and exit of the tunnel seamlessly into the fabric of the city. So by having an elevator, sort of a car skate that's on an elevator, you can integrate the entrance and exits to the tunnel network just by using 2 parking spaces. And then the car gets on a skate. There's no speed limit here, so we're designing this to be able to operate at 200 kilometers an hour, about 200 kilometers an hour, or about 130 miles per hour. So you should be able to get from, say, Westwood to LAX in 6 minutes, 5-6 minutes.
Now here's hoping the dry test goes off well and these underground tunnels come up trumps. Bureau Report, WION.
Certainly could change the way we deal with traffic, right, and all that road rage. Well, at times we feel that Musk is Silicon Valley's version of Tony Stark, and he's decided to revolutionize the way we travel from here to there. In fact, it's not just the underground tunnels that he aims to make a reality, but he also plans to send passengers and cargo packed into pods. This through an integrated system of giant vacuum tubes called Hyperloop. But exactly what is Hyperloop? But a simple way to break it down is, think about it as like if you're playing ice hockey, or just, you know, those little pucks going from point A to point B really fast. Well, that's exactly what it is. But here's a preview report.
The promise of a Hyperloop to cut travel times from hours to minutes has sparked a global buzz. Hyperloop One is just one of the many interests placing their bets on this dream project. But what exactly is a Hyperloop? The Hyperloop was first pitched by serial entrepreneur Elon Musk. In August 2013, he published a 57-page document detailing plans for a super-fast transport system which carries passengers in pressurized tubes at speeds which are close to a supersonic jet. Since then, universities and entrepreneurs have jumped at the idea. Hyperloop's design is similar to how a puck behaves in a game of air hockey. Hyperloop One, one of 2 companies to have pitched the Hyperloop concept in India, wants to ferry passengers inside tube-like structures called transporters. The transporters travel inside massive tubes, levitated and surrounded by a cushion of air at speeds of more than 1,000 kilometers per hour. As per Musk's designs, one transporter can carry around 28 passengers alongside their luggage, which is stored in the front or the rear of the capsule. When Elon Musk conceived the Hyperloop, he said that building the transport system to connect Los Angeles to San Francisco will cost $6 billion. At first impressions, the idea of the Hyperloop seems like a scene straight out of a sci-fi movie, but experts say that high research and development costs may very well be the speed breaker in our path to high-speed travel. Bureau Report, WION.
Well, the concept certainly looks interesting and quite promising indeed. The good news here is that a few companies have in fact aggressively been working to make sure this is a reality, perhaps the future of travel using Hyperloops. I wonder if they'll serve meals on those Hyperloop trips. But let's take a look at what's happening around the world when it comes to making Hyperloop a reality.
Startup Hyperloop WION has completed another round of tests of what can be called the near supersonic rail system. The company successfully finished the test at its full-scale test track in Nevada. As the company explains, a Hyperloop pod was put to test and was fired through a tube which was depressurized to the equivalent of 200,000 feet above sea level. Hitting record speeds, the pod reached an unprecedented speed of 192 miles per hour during the test, which is close to the planned functional speeds that the company is aiming for future Hyperloop installations. Hyperloop WION ensures that the test was safely conducted. All components like motors, controls, the vacuum system and the magnetic levitation were tested beforehand. Talking about the experience, the company claims that it offers better safety than passenger jets and ensures lower build and maintenance costs than high-speed trains. Now that the company has shown how the concept works and has tested it successfully, it is ready to go commercial. Hyperloop WION is ready for talks with partners, customers and governments around the world about the full commercialization of the new travel technology. While Hyperloop WION aims to have one running by 2021, it is yet to be seen how talks with the government materialize worldwide and when the regulations for this new mode of transportation are put into place. Bureau Report, WION.
And it seems that not only the United States and Europe, but India is also eyeing on this futuristic transportation system, the Hyperloop. Well, the Indian government is already in talks with Hyperloop WION and Hyperloop Technologies 2, the companies that are aiming to bring the first ever Hyperloop to India. Well, if it came to India, it would certainly modernize the Indian transportation system in many ways. Now, this also becomes significant in the backdrop of transportation crisis that you have in India. The 164-year-old Indian Railways is still pretty slow. In fact, just this past week, there have already been several derailments in Uttar Pradesh. If you also calculate, on average, the train speed, it's about 54 kilometers an hour. And on top of that, the roadways too, especially in the big metros, are not in such good shape either. Well, in such a situation, the kind of promises that a Hyperloop brings in is certainly going to get people excited. So let's take a look at some of these routes. For instance, Hyperloop WION claimed that commuters will be able to travel from Bengaluru to Chennai in, get this, 20 minutes. 20 minutes. That's about the time we started this newscast. So since around 7 o'clock till now, you would have been in 2 different cities, 2 different states. All right. From Thiruvananthapuram to, Bengaluru to Thiruvananthapuram, a little bit longer, a little bit double, about 41 minutes. The company still, though, looking at a possibility to Delhi and possibly Delhi to Mumbai via Jaipur at about an hour, about 55 minutes. Mumbai to Chennai, also via Bengaluru, about 50 minutes. So certainly some options. Let's see, these are options that could be much more different, revolutionize the way people travel. The big question, though, at this hour, infrastructure. How difficult will it be to build these tunnels to get these Hyperloops from point A to point B? So certainly those narratives have to still be investigated. But there you go, from Mumbai to Chennai, going all the way south via Bengaluru to Chennai then, about 55 minutes. I mean, what, an hour? Typically, that's less than half than what it would take you on a flight. All right, well, there are also pretty exciting things that are going on. Remember, this is the future, which of course still means we're far away. So this is all just in the concept stage. Throwing out these ideas, getting the proposals, getting the budget, mapping it out before it's going to become a reality. So nothing, at least for the next 3 years, and it could be a little bit longer before that happens. All right, so we've talked about Hyperloops. We've talked about going from point A to point B. Well, there's another option as well. That's right, the future of transportation is going to also rely on the space making it easier. Take a look at this, not just your ordinary car. There's no one inside it. Self-driving cars. Well, of course, the passenger's there, but imagine that. Your Ubers, your cabs, your taxis. I mean, cars that will drive themselves. A plethora of automakers and various tech companies are now investing billions of dollars to bring self-driving cars to the road. But of course, there is an important question, a safety question, that we still have to figure out. How safe is it to have fully automated vehicles? Also, can we make sure these are secure from hackers? We've certainly seen what's happened in Europe with the plethora, the slew of terror attacks that have taken place with, of course, those trucks and vehicles. In fact, just last week in Barcelona, where we saw that van ram into those tourists. So the safety element certainly is of utmost importance. But the bottom line is that the technology for self-driving cars might actually be here. But in terms of the legalities and all of that, there's still some work that needs to be done before self-driving cars can hit the roads. In fact, in the US, Uber even tried deploying self-driving cars, but it just didn't go so well. So Uber, unfortunately, running into a roadblock. But the question is, will self-driving cars be the near future? So you may be able to get from point A to point B without even having to talk to someone in the passenger or driver's seat. I'll have to wait and watch the next steps when it comes to technology. All right, well, we move on now to our second topic of the evening. It's robots and artificial intelligence. The robot revolution. Well, the words invasion and takeover have typically made headlines when it comes to robotics and AI. Coverage, though, is typically negative, saying that the robots are a threat to society. Why? Because they could take away jobs. They could also take away roles from humans. In fact, a recent study said around half of the current jobs that we see right now could be eliminated by the year 2055 because of automation. So let's break it all down. What are robots being made to do? What are the roles? And how are they stealing our jobs? Well, here's a report.
After steam power, electric power and digitization, experts say we are in the middle of the fourth industrial revolution. As new technologies emerge with robots and artificial intelligence, old jobs will be redundant. There will be mass disruption, interruption to middle-skilled jobs, and opportunities that will not be evenly distributed. In the next 5 years, you'll need to have better problem solvers, more critical thinkers, and creative people who can manage people better. The price tag when it comes to the impact of robots and self-run systems is about $20 trillion by 2025. It could cause a split in society, with a high-skilled group dominating over a lower-skilled, lower-income group as well. A UK study shows the gap between the rich and the poor in society has increased, with inequality now at a record high. The fear is that owners of the means of production will become rich, while others will see their jobs being replaced by robots. In Germany, at a Siemens plant, there are lines that can run without supervision for weeks. It is the first stepping stone towards a self-organized factory, but the factory still has more than 1,100 employees. The roles include programming, monitoring, and machine maintenance. Wealth creation and innovation must be centered on people to help the future. Here are the risks by location of jobs being replaced in various countries. Thailand, the number is 72%, while in Nigeria and Argentina, 65% of jobs are being replaced. China has 77% jobs at the risk of being replaced by automation. The numbers for South Africa are 67%, Ethiopia 85%. For the UK and the US, the numbers stand at 35% and 47% respectively. Experts say over time jobs will return, but it won't be the same type of jobs. In the US, most automation jobs in the car industry are in Midwest and South. Here are the risks in the United States by cities least at risk of automation at around 40%. These include Boston, Washington DC, New York, Denver, and San Francisco. Artificial intelligence will also play a crucial role in future classrooms when it comes to grading. Chatbots are being developed to answer questions for students to help with academics. It may also revolutionize the education industry in evaluating applicants during the college admission process. Experts say technology designers have an ethical responsibility as well. They will have to find out whether the sole purpose is to replace human workers Or are they helping the human process and increasing happiness to avoid repetitive tasks? Bureau Report, WION.
Certainly quite scary if you think about it, but you never know, they might make it easier for us to avoid those repetitive tasks. We just hope that by 2055, there are not anchors who are robots who deliver the news, because then I will be out of a job. So we'll keep our fingers crossed. All right, well, as we mentioned, robots will soon be taking over many things that we may not realize. We even see them when it comes to vacuuming. Many devices, in fact, in hospitals, in your household kitchens, all spheres of our lives, they're taking over one way, shape, or the other. In fact, in some countries like China, robots are being deployed to take over law enforcement, police, legal things. So what's next to the robots? What else are these robots going to conquer next? Well, here's a report.
From being priests to playing piano, robots are dancing their way into our private and public lives. The human race is facing an automation revolution, and by the looks of it, it is here to stay. There has been a 15% growth in industrial robotics per year globally, racing over 25% in some non-traditional robotic sectors such as electronics. But the question is it an opportunity or a threat? In many parts of the world, toll booths have been replaced by cameras that capture license plate information for billing. In Chennai, a bank has announced that its current robot in a branch will answer customer queries and would soon begin accepting cash. It will thus stand next to and assist the teller. Bank officials claim that it has reduced the work pressure on officials. Not just this, the South Korean border is lined with robots that can automatically detect North Korean soldiers walking across the border. But that's not all. They are getting even more smarter. China has now deployed robots to review cases, verify facts, issue arrest warrants, and approve indictments. These droids stand 3 feet tall, and at times they also offer opinions on sentencing as well. Well, this was just one thing. Robots have got into kitchens as well. Ever thought that robots would cook for you? But it's now happening. A restaurant in China is electrifying customers by using more than a dozen robots to cook and deliver food. Here's a robot that draws people's portraits. Experts believe that artificial intelligence is getting better and better at automating things that humans do. So it is only a matter of time that robots will become a part of our life through aiding household tasks or driving our cars or aiding business production. The future certainly looks robotic. Bureau Report, WION.